Well, it looks like Infiniti sent us another SUV, a QX80 with four-wheel drive. Lots of goodies here. And let's check out the price. Woo! Wow, look at that fuel economy. 13 mpg in the city. Whoa. And it says here you'll spend almost $3 grand a year feeding this beast. But this was made back when gas was $3.50 a gallon. Now it's almost double thanks to Brandon. You might want to double this figure. Plus, this engine likes premium blend instead of standard 87, so you have to add on top of that as well. Well, let's go down to the test facility and take a look at this monster. Well, here it is. Very nice looking rig. Nice color in that paint too. And the side and rear view. They shipped it all the way from their headquarters in Tennessee just for us. And by the way, if you don't want to get a fully loaded QX80, the base price is $70 grand. Or you get the Nissan Armada, which this is based on, fully loaded for $68 grand. Or the base one for around $47. A big, wide price spread here. But in the end, we know we all want the QX80 loaded with everything on it, right? And the first thing we do when we get a vehicle is to check and see if there's a spare tire. And, yep, located under here, so if you get a flat, you're going to get dirty. And as always, we take the headlights out in the dark and see how they perform. That'll be part 3 of this video, so don't go away. Or fast forward to the headlight test, if you don't want to hear me talking. And thank you, Infiniti, for not sending me a vehicle with a black interior. I cannot stand black interiors, especially in the summertime when they get hot. But wow, this tan leather is really, really nice. In fact, the entire cabin is of extremely high quality. I'm very impressed. You won't get a cabin this nice in the Nissan Armada version, and I see we have entertainment screens for the second row passengers. Don't know what they do. Can't figure out how to turn them on yet. And the seats do fold over here on the left, so you can fit the third row seating, which is folded at the moment. So 2 bucket seats in the front, 2 buckets in the second row, and the monkey seats in the third row. I'd say we're going to fit 6 people in here, although they advertise more. I don't know where the 7th person would go. Maybe sitting on this little console here. And every time I turn this vehicle on, I get this stupid seat warning system. I don't know what they're warning me about. Nobody's sitting there. So we have to go through the ritual of getting rid of it. Very annoying. And we get a large info screen, which is kind of hard to see because of the glare out at the moment. And this is what you control it with. There's a learning curve here. Once you understand everything, it's alright. But before you do, it's kind of a pain in the butt. Especially if you're programming radio stations. It took me about half a day to figure that out. And your drive mode, 4-wheel drive high, 4-wheel drive low, automatic. For taking this off-road, which we just might do. The glove box design is mediocre. Hardly any room in here. You take the owner's manual out, you'll have more, of course. A big storage bin in between the seats. If you're driving in the city, 14.1 mpg. Better than the 13 claimed on the window sticker, but still. And we get a nice 7-speed automatic transmission. It can be shifted manually if you move this over to the left. No paddle shifters on the steering wheel though. That's not very sporting. And under the hood, the Nissan 5.6 liter 400 horsepower V8. Not the smoothest engine in the world, but very reliable. Been around a long time. Bit of a gas guzzler, but hey. The vehicle weighs 3 tons. What do you expect? Easy access to the battery. Okay, enough chit-chat. Let's go out and do some driving. And here we go with this stupid ass seat warning again. I'm really getting sick of this. I can't disconnect it. If you know how, make a comment in the comment section and tell us how to do that without having to push all these buttons. The power steering on this vehicle is dead in the center. A lot of slop. Takes some getting used to. Not bothersome in city driving, but on the highway, kind of hard to keep it in a straight line sometimes. You'll get used to it, I guess. This particular vehicle has huge 22-inch wheels and tires and doesn't do much for ride quality, but, well, let's find out. The ride quality of this vehicle is pretty good on the street, but let's take some speed humps around 15 to 20 miles per hour. See how the suspension performs on impacts. Here comes bump number 1. Pretty smooth. Surprising considering these huge wheels and tires. Number 2. Didn't feel a thing. Third bump. Smooth, and here's the big nasty one. Very, very smooth. I'm surprised. If you get the QX80 with the smaller wheels and tires, I'm sure it's even smoother. This 5.6 liter V8's a strong engine, a nice one too, but acceleration wise, when you're pulling 3 tons, you can only go so quick. There goes a gallon of gas. Nice brakes. Driving this vehicle in city limits is like driving a tank. That can be a positive thing or negative thing, depending on your perspective, but a very solid, well-built vehicle. I would easily match this with any of the Mercedes and Audi SUVs I've driven lately. That's a pretty good compliment. Alright, let's do some more driving. Start up, and here we go with the stupid warning again. Get rid of it again. Wish I knew how to turn that off. This QX80 is a fantastic highway cruiser. Very stable, smooth, quiet. I'm very surprised at the lack of wind noise. Maybe it's noisy outside, but I certainly don't hear it inside. Excellent build quality, I suppose. The only rotten pea in the pod is the fuel consumption. Eventually we're going to run dry, and I think it's going to cost way over $100 to fill up this tank. Ouch. And if you live in California, last time I looked in Northern California, gas was over $7 a gallon for premium, which this engine prefers. Feel sorry for you. By the way, we're climbing from an elevation of 1,500 feet to around 5,500 feet. Uphill all the way, and this 5.6 V8 engine is doing a great job of pulling all this weight. Lots of bottom end power. No complaints at all. As far as performance goes, we're still waiting to see what the fuel economy is going to be. Okay, we were getting 17 mpg, pretty solid, till we went up those extreme steep hills, which brought it down to 16.4. Not bad considering the driving conditions. And don't forget, what goes uphill going up has to go downhill going down. So you take the uphill mileage and the downhill mileage, we might get 17 or 18 after all. Well, this is a 4x4, so let's do a little off-roading, and I see the vultures are out already, waiting for me maybe. And there his buddies flying up ahead. What a delicious meal. Let's get some ketchup. If you're going to take the QX80 off the pavement with four-wheel drive and four-wheel drive low and good ground clearance, it's more than capable. However, this is a large vehicle. It might not fit on some trails. And making U-turns can be a kind of a pain on narrow trails as well. Of course, not all QX80s are four-wheel drive. Some are two-wheel drive. I suspect most of those will be driven on the street or flat dirt roads like this. So what's my take on this Infiniti QX80 after a week of driving? Well, you know, if they could find a way for this to get 50 miles to the gallon, it'd be perfect, but it doesn't. Otherwise, though, it's definitely one of the better large SUVs in its class. And that concludes part 2 of the video, our driving. Part 3, our bonus footage, taking these headlights out in the dark and see how this thing drives at night. So let's do it. Okay, it's dark enough. Let's check out these lights. I have the low beams on at the moment. Now the high beams, and apparently this is the high beam, this is the standard light. Now we learned something. Nice big taillights. Where are the emergency lights? Oh, they're down here. That's clever. On the mirror. Easily to see these. Wow, very bright with the headlights off. You can light up a disco with these. And by the way, when you open the door, on the rocker panels, the Infiniti emblem comes up to remind you what you're driving. And if you want to shut off the cabin lights when you open the door, there is a button right there that shuts off all the interior lights. Some brand of cars you can't do that, amazingly. And most of the important controls are lit up at night. Here's the shift lever, controls for the infotainment system. Not an overabundance of lights though. Put the transmission in reverse and this is what you see. Let's see what happens when you push this. Okay, for the headlights, I have the low beams on. A building 33 yards away or 100 feet, very bright. And the light is above the bushes, that's a good sign. Go to high beam. Pretty strong. By the way, these are active headlights. That means the headlamps turn the same direction you're turning the steering wheel. Great when taking corners. You can see how the headlights are turning left, right. If you live somewhere where there are tight mountain roads taking a lot of curves, that type of headlight design comes in very handy. Now let's look down the street. Low beam, high beam. And yet the headlights come in handy when the homeless people jump out in front of your vehicle. Don't even know you're there. He needs to get some headlights for that cart. And lighting up highway signs on the freeway. Yep, that's a pretty good job. I would say the headlight system is excellent, definitely passed. And actually this is one of the nicest vehicles in the Infiniti Nissan lineup. You're definitely getting your money's worth on this one. A very nice vehicle. Oh, look at that. The underneath lights up too. Interesting.